Hello and welcome back to my channel. If you're new here, my name is Cassie Johnson and I am a full-time Etsy seller and Etsy coach. I've been selling print on demand on Etsy since I lost my job in 2020 and have now sold almost $600,000 worth of t-shirts on Etsy to date. My goal with this channel is to teach you how to do the exact same thing. If you're not familiar with what print on demand is, then print on demand is the process of making a design on the internet using your phone or your laptop and then actually posting it for sale on a print on demand website like Printify. That is my preferred print provider of choice, and I do have a sign up link for them down below, as well as a free first month of Printify Premium if you use code Cassie30. And Printify will actually print the items for you once you get an order. So all you do is make the designs, post them for sale on Etsy, and handle the customer service. But as soon as you get an order, Printify automatically receives that order, prints the item for you, and even sends it to the customer all automatically. So it is a really great way for people to start a business from home with very little out of pocket. And just to give you some background on me, I don't think I've really shared a ton about my personal story, but I actually got pregnant at 15, had a baby at 16, dropped out of high school and got my GED and started working as a waitress. And then I ended up working in sales for about 10 years before I started doing this. So by no means do I have any kind of design background. I've never designed t-shirts before. I've never owned my own business. Really, anyone can start a business just like this from home. There's so much free content available on YouTube. I have so many videos teaching you exactly how to do everything step by step. So go ahead and like and subscribe if you're getting value so far, or if you want to watch more videos like this. One of my very first videos that I ever made was a recap of my 2020 sales. So I went over how I started my Etsy shop in May and sold until December, and my total sales for that time frame was $134,000 in revenue. I go month by month and tell you exactly what niches I was selling in. I tried to give you an idea of how many listings I had at that time, and then at the end I did go over exactly how much profit that I make after selling that much, since I do have to pay Printify to print the shirts for me and ship them, and then I have other costs like Canva.com, that's who I use to make my designs, and I use like CreativeFabrica.com to buy graphics, and then Everbee and Sales Samurai are two of my favorite tools to use for keyword research and niche research. So you have to factor in all the things that you spend money on as well. So after all the things that I purchased to run my business in 2020, I made $42,000 in profit in my first 8 months. I'll link that video down below if you want to go back and watch it and see exactly how my first 8 months of print on demand went. I think it is a super valuable video to give you an idea of what it's like to start this business. In this video though, I wanted to do an update and actually do my full 2021 numbers of what I sold, how much I sold, and how much profit that I actually made. I'm not making this video to brag, that's why I haven't made it yet. The reason why I want to make this video is to inspire you on what really can happen if you go all in with this business. It really can completely change your life, and I figure I actually quit my job the end of June last year, so for my 1-year anniversary of being a full-time Etsy seller, I figured there was no better time than to release how much money I made my very first full calendar year with print on demand. So let's go ahead and get into it. So starting with January of 2021, I actually had just gotten off of quite the high, if you watched my video for 2020, of selling $20,000 in December of 2020 and $70,000 in November of 2020. So blindsided by making more Christmas designs and more Christmas designs and more Christmas designs that I spent about 0 time getting ready for actually January and February January. And so I went down from selling, like I said, $70,000 and $20,000 to in January, I sold $6,643.18. And of that, for profit, after all of the expenses, I only get to keep $1,178.22 of profit. So my best recommendation would be to take a quick little break from Christmas designing, come about October timeframe, and actually take the time to get ready for the beginning of 2023. So what I'll be doing at that time is I'll be designing for Valentine's Day designs, especially like anti-love and funny ones sell the best. You can sell Black History Month shirts. Those are a great way to get more sales. The 100th day of school sells really well in the beginning of the year, as well as St. Patrick's Day. Those are all really, really good ones to have ready for the beginning of the year. That way, when it comes to January timeframe, you are not stuck with having low sales as well. So what I did actually sell this month was a bunch of birthday themed shirts. So if you haven't gotten into the birthday niche yet, selling shirts that are like Hello 30 or Vintage 1992, those types of shirts sell really well. And bonus points if you can turn them into group shirts where you have one shirt for the birthday person and then a birthday crew shirt for everyone else. That is a great way to really grow your sales and get more business, because then someone's buying 5 shirts or 10 shirts from you every time instead of just one. Some of the other niches that I sold in January were different professions. So graduation for colleges starts to come up in spring. So having different shirts with different professions on them, really any of them will do, is a great niche to get into. And then a bunch of other random niches like cows. So then moving on to February, you can see here I sold $7,321.86 with 294 orders. And this month I sold mainly St. Patrick's Day shirts. So that is a very good niche to get into. And when it comes to designing for any holiday, you want to avoid just saying like Happy St. Patrick's Day on a shirt. You want to try and think out of the box on who's buying this and what are they going to be wearing it for. So funny couples matching shirts to wear when they go out to the bar, best friend matching shirts, group shirts, pregnancy announcement shirts, all are great things to get into for literally every single holiday. And that is the direction that I went with my shirts to sell this $7,000 in this month. And the amount of profit that I made was $1,548.88. So that brings us to March of 2021. I sold $17,648 and 623 sales. A lot of what I started selling this month was a ton more of those profession shirts for, I believe, graduation gifts. I started selling a lot more Easter stuff and some mom and aunt shirts. Since Mother's Day is coming up at this point, any kind of relationship type shirts, people love buying those as gifts for people, or like pregnancy announcements for people. So mom, aunts, and so on are great ones to be in. And then I also started selling a lot of camping stuff. So in March, that's when a lot of people start to think about camping for the summer, but the camping niche in general is a really good one to get into, especially, like I said before, bonus points if you do group shirts. That way you can do a whole group of them and sell more instead of just one. Now, the total amount of profit that I made off of this amount of sales was $4,727.87. Now for April of 2021, I sold $26,440.59 and 880 orders total. And what I actually sold this month was a ton of Mother's Day type designs. And again, it doesn't have to say Happy Mother's Day or best mom ever. You know, it can be really specific. So try to get creative when you're doing different holidays like this and think of who this person really is and what type of unique item you can have as a gift for sale for them, and that can really help set you apart. You can do really specific things. I know I've said in other videos like softball mom or volleyball mom or a specific grandma name. There's lots of different ways that you can spin it, and the nice thing about mom stuff is it can sell well all year round, especially around the holidays as well. But for Mother's Day, that's definitely what helped get me this amount of sales. I also started selling a lot of bachelorette shirts and still a ton of profession shirts. And so the profession shirts is going to be a great example of seeing what's working, duplicating it into other niches. So most of my profession shirts look exactly the same, just with different words for each profession. So it's a great way to scale your business without having to spend hours designing. Just find one great design style and duplicate it into tons of other niches. And the amount of profit that I made for the month of April was $8,558.94. So keep in mind, I am still working a full-time job at this point and just doing this on the side and in between free moments that I have at work. That brings us to May of 2021. I sold $22,332, and that was 761 orders total. And what I sold this month was, again, mostly the profession shirts, bachelorette shirts. I did start to get more into some custom orders at this point, which can be a great way to grow your shop, since a lot of people come to Etsy looking for custom and personalized items. And then I did start to see the beginning sales of 4th of July shirts and Pride shirts as well. So this is a great example of what happens when you are ready early. I know I say this a lot, but you really want to focus on being 8 to 12 weeks early to what is coming. And so hopefully you're writing down some of these niches that I sold in these months and have a calendar going for what you need to design for 8 to 12 weeks in advance to be early to any niche or trend or holiday. The amount of profit that I made in the month of May was $6,835.79. That brings us to the month of June. I sold $13,709.35, and that was 460 orders. The summer is typically slower, especially if you aren't ready for some of the bigger holidays. Last year, I really put a huge focus on getting ready for 4th of July and kind of skipped Father's Day, which I feel like ended up being a big mistake. So going back in time, I think what I would have focused on and what I'm focused on more this year is doing more of the Pride Month shirts. Is a really, really big one to sell this time of year. And Father's Day designs are also very huge. I also would have spent a little bit more time on end of the year teacher shirts. I think would have been another really good niche to get into and have been ready early for June. So for the amount of profit that I made for June was $3,715.17. And some of the niches that I sold this month were, again, more profession shirts, bachelorette party shirts, and probably about 100 of these were 4th of July sales. And then big, exciting month at the end of June, I actually did quit my full-time job. My husband and I had talked about me quitting my job sometime in about August, right before our wedding. So we had time to kind of get everything ready for our wedding. We got married on September 25th, but I had had just a couple really great months of sales and was making more money on Etsy. And we knew that if I quit my job and started focusing all my time on Etsy, that we could really take it to the next level. So we did go ahead and make that decision that I would quit my job. So that was a crazy exciting time. And like I said, as I'm making this video, it is June of 2022. And I can't tell you how amazing my first year of being completely self-employed has been. Of course, it has been stressful. It has been a roller coaster, but I would recommend it literally to anyone. It has been so rewarding and, like I said, so much fun. But it definitely shows you what you're made of. I tend to be a little bit of a procrastinator, and now there is no one to blame but myself. And so you have to be really honest with yourself and really try and set your time and schedule your time and be good to yourself to make sure that it all works. So moving on to the month of July 2021, I sold $20,347. And that was 667 total orders. And what I was selling in the month of July last year was, again, a lot more of the profession shirts, bachelorette shirts, and then my Halloween designs really started to take off, which I'm actually already starting to see Halloween sales here in June of 2022. So if you haven't started designing for Halloween, it is time to get to it, because it really does pay to be early to these. Because if you start selling Halloween type designs in June and July, then they start to work their way up the rankings, they start to get reviews and more views, and then by the time the masses come in August and September and start buying these designs, you are up at the top of the search results. So the amount of profit that I actually made from those sales in July was $5,113.67. So the month of August, my total sales were $27,525.32, which was 821 orders. Nothing really crazy new on what I was selling. Again, it was mostly professions, bachelorette, and Halloween. So I hope you are taking notes here that profession shirts and bachelorette shirts are really huge things that you should be selling today. And the amount of profit that I made for August was $8,196.35. So that brings us to September, one of my favorite months of my entire life. I sold $27,025.85, which was 753 orders total. So like I said earlier in this video, this is the month that I got married. So I got married on September 25th, and there was our bachelorette parties. There was tons of planning, decorations to make, dress fittings, and so I really probably ended up working only for about 20 minutes per day this entire month. And so it was really great to see that you can do the work in advance, and then it can become a little bit more passive when you need it to, when you have other things that you need to do with your time. I did also have a gym order 100 sweatshirts from me this month, since I do sell custom listings. So that is something that I would recommend having for sale in your store if you're okay with doing a little bit of custom work. Whereas if you are looking to have this as automated as possible, I would recommend staying away from those instead. And this is when my Christmas sales really started. I started to sell a lot of my popular Christmas sweaters from the year before, and so that was really great to see that they were selling again this year. I actually did leave all of my Christmas designs up from the year all the way up until this point. I wasn't really sure if I was going to take them down or leave them up, but I decided to just leave them, and I did get some Christmas sales throughout the year, just sprinkled here and there, and then this way you are just ready when people are ready to buy those designs. So if you do take your Christmas designs down for the year, I would recommend reposting them at latest September 1st. That way you're ready for the early birds who like to come and buy their Christmas presents and Christmas sweaters for the season. And then again, a lot of my other sales were profession shirts and a lot more Halloween designs as well. And for the month of September, the amount of profit I made was $6,914.38. Again, not bad for only working about 20 minutes every single day. And then I'll go ahead and add a picture of me and my hubby and my little teenager. So cute. And now that brings us to the beginning of Q4, one of the most exciting times for any print-on-demand seller. In the last 3 months of the year, you really can make more than the other 9 months combined, and I am a perfect example of that. So in October, I sold $26,333.91, which was 780 orders. So again, a lot of the same stuff that I was selling, professions, Halloween, and then started getting a ton more Christmas orders at this time. And the amount of profit that I made for October was $5,844.72. And then that brings us to the big kahuna, November of 2021. What an exciting time. You can see here I sold over $100,000 in t-shirts for my very first time. So this was just the craziest, funnest month of my life. If you saw my video from 2020, I actually sold $70,000 in the month of November, but $20,000 of that was from a famous woman sharing my shop on her Instagram. It was one of the ladies from the Home Edit. She had shared it on her story for just one day, and I got like 700 orders. It was absolutely insane. So go back and watch that video if you want to see the full story. And so this year, what's crazy is that didn't happen. I didn't have anyone famous sharing my shop. It was all just organic sales, and at this time I was running about $100 per day in ads, I believe, as well. So I think I did spend a decent amount in ad spend. That's not something I do all year round, and when I do, I only run it on my top like 10 or 15 selling items, just to pour gasoline on the fire that is already there. So these sales came from a combination of 6 of my best sellers from the previous year becoming best sellers again. So it was really, really cool to see that compound interest of designs I had made the year prior selling again and making me so much more money even this year than they did the year before. And then I saw someone have a funny political sweatshirt that I went ahead and made my own version of, I think on November 1st. And I ended up selling over 400 of that sweatshirt in the month of November. So it really does pay to keep paying attention to the Christmas trends and what's selling and get on that train, because about $17,000 of this revenue was from that one sweatshirt. And so definitely every single day during November, you want to keep going through and seeing things that are starting to sell and make your own version. And that's really how I was able to make this much sales in November. So one thing that I will caution you all about is around this same time, there started being a ton of price increases from the Printify providers. They raised the price of sweatshirts, and then around the holidays, they typically raise the price of shipping by about 25 cents for every single order as well. And I very much underestimated how much that was going to add up and take out of my profit. So for example, in 2020, I sold $70,000 and made $23,000 in profit. Whereas in November of 2021, I sold $30,000 more. I sold $100,000 in revenue, and I only made $25,812. So for $30,000 more in revenue, I only made about $2,000 more in profit. So lesson learned, I saw these numbers at the end of that month and I raised my prices, but I will tell you to do that early. That way you don't get into the same pickle. And if I would have just raised my prices a couple of dollars each item, I could have made so much more profit. And then last but not least, we have December of 2021. So I actually was blown away at how much sales I made in the first week of December. So I sold $51,641 total. And that was 1,452 orders. So around this time on December 7th, I went ahead and added a note that my items were no longer guaranteed by Christmas, but they were likely to make it at this point. And so you do see a small drop off in my sales, but trust me, it is so worth it. Printify will tell you that the Christmas cutoff date is closer to about December 13th, but trust me, it's not worth the hassle of being stressed out on Christmas. There are always going to be shipping delays. There's always going to be items out of stock, and do yourself a favor and make your Christmas cutoff date December 7th, and then people can still order my items after that point. They just have to type in my custom order box I added to all my listings that yes, they understand it's not guaranteed by Christmas. And I was surprised at still how many orders I got of people just hoping it would still make it in time, and the majority of them did, but there were a few who didn't, but they had already agreed that they knew that they were not guaranteed by Christmas, so it made the customer service and my reviews just that much easier for December. So for my yearly grand total, I sold $347,954.49 in revenue, which on Etsy says that's about 10,000 orders. But something, if you didn't know, is if someone orders multiples of the same size and color item, Etsy only counts it as one sale instead of multiples. So when I looked at my numbers on Printify, I had actually sold 13,067 individual items, and my profit for the year was $91,410.24. So not bad considering I was working a full-time 40-hour work week for 6 months of the year, and that breaks down to $6.99 profit per item. So like I said, I am looking to raise my average profit per item this year to make sure that I am a little bit more competitive. I'd love to have closer to a $9 profit per item instead. I know this was a long video, so thank you so much for staying all the way until the end. I really hope it gave you a good idea of what your year could look like if you work really hard at this business. And I do have my one-on-one coaching calls and shop reviews available in the description if you'd like me to take a look at your shop and give you an idea of what you should be working on next. Or we could have a one-on-one coaching call of how you should be preparing for the holidays. I'm happy to help however I can, and really, like I said at the beginning, anyone can do this. It just takes a lot of time and effort in the beginning, but then eventually it does get, I promise, so much easier. So again, thank you so much for watching. If you haven't subscribed, go ahead and subscribe if you haven't already. I really, really appreciate it. It helps my channel so much, and we'll see you in the next one.